So today what we are going to do is learn about charts and basic candlestick pattern. Okay, so charts, where are the unfilled orders? Okay, so this is this is the irony. Okay, chart, what will chart give you? Chart will give you charts will give you the presentation of filled orders. It will show you filled orders. But our job as a core strategy trader is to find where are the unfilled orders on the chart. Okay, where are the unfilled orders on the chart? That is the question. And that we have to, you know, that we have to look for. Okay, so chart represent filled orders in a market. Okay, chart represent filled orders in a market. But what do we want? What is the classic definition of chart? Chart represent price movement through time, since the vertical axis measures price and the horizontal axis corresponds to time. Okay, so chart represents price movement through time. So always on the x-axis you will have time on a price chart, and on the y-axis you will have price. Okay, and that will show you filled orders. Okay, because if a candle is formed on a chart, that is formed because there are orders on the chart, and that orders are filled. Okay, now what is Online Trading Academy's definition of a chart? Chart represent filled orders through time. Our job as supply and demand traders is to find the greatest stacks of unfilled orders. So chart will always represent filled orders in the market. Okay, now our job as supply and demand traders is to find the greatest stacks of unfilled orders. Where are the unfilled orders residing? Okay, you'll come to know that. Hold on, Saurav. Okay, just hold on. Just hold on. So our job as a supply and demand traders is to find the greatest stacks of unfilled orders. Okay. Now, let's suppose you wanted to buy 200 quantities of a stock. Okay. But when the price came to your entry price, only 100 got filled. So that 100 is your filled orders, and the 100 that is remaining, the unfilled orders, that is your unfilled orders. Now, there is a way to find unfilled orders on the chart. Okay, that we will do in the coming session. But what are these filled orders? I will explain you. Hold on. When we go to the next slide after this, you'll come to know what are the filled orders. So filled orders will always have candles in that. Okay. So chart represent filled orders through time. Okay. Whenever the orders are getting filled, it's through time. Because if I want to buy something, okay, I will buy something and that will be same punched on the chart. Now you don't get to know all these things. Okay. You just see candles on the charts. Okay, you just see candles on the chart. You will just see candles on the chart. Yeah, filled orders means executed orders. Filled orders means executed order. Let's suppose that I wanted to buy 200 quantities of a stock. But when I wanted to buy, I only got filled in 50 quantities. So those 50 quantities are your filled orders, and the remaining 150 is your unfilled orders. Okay, the question is that where is that unfilled orders on the chart? By the big players, by the institutions. Okay, that is what we as a core strategy need to find. Okay. So now chart represent filled orders in the market, opposite of what we need. Now this is a very good example. This is an analogy. Okay, this is an analogy. If we were still in the era of chemical photography, we would say that the chart is a negative. So many of you might be knowing this, okay, what the picture is about. Okay, this is your negative. So before the advent of your digital cameras, what we used to do, we used to put this reel or negative in our camera, and we used to, uh, click pictures on this reel, and what we used to do is we used to go to the studios and develop a positive image from this. This was negative, and we used to carry positive. We used to go to the studios and develop a positive from this. So similarly, the charts will represent filled orders. Okay, but we as a core strategy traders, we will have to look for the unfilled orders on the chart. Yes, Prasad. Okay, see, you now yourself are getting this. So just have patience. Okay, you will get everything. And if you don't get anything, I am there to help you out. But just hold on for the time being. We have just started. Okay, so now can you see this is a basic chart? Okay, this is a basic chart, and here is the name of the chart, Axis Bank. Okay, and this is the date, 29 Jan 2015. This is the time that we have. Okay, and can you see all these candles over here? Green and red candles, everybody. Can you see all these green and red candles? So these are filled orders. Okay, these are filled orders because at every time, no, I cannot zoom this. Okay, there is a button on your left hand side corner. If you want to zoom, you can zoom it through that. Okay, you can zoom it through that. You might be having a button on your left hand where you are viewing the screen. There is a left hand on the left hand on the top corner. There is a zoom button. Okay, so you can zoom through that, but I cannot zoom this right now. Yeah, so please zoom that. So now here these are all candles. So why are these candles formed? Because at every point of this price juncture there were orders over here. Okay, that has been executed. So that's why the price has gone up. So can you see here the price has gone up, then it has come down. So there were buyers, there were sellers at every point of time. So these are all filled orders. But we don't want to know where are the filled orders. But as a core strategy traders, what is our motto? Our motto is to find unfilled orders on the chart. Okay, that's our motto. And for that, we have a process how to find that unfilled orders, which I will introduce to you, in the coming sessions. Okay, so just remember that chart is a representation of filled orders, but we as a core strategy traders want to know where are the unfilled orders on the chart. You know, the different time frames for different trading purposes. Okay, now in our curriculum, in our Ignite, we have 4 styles of trading. One is your hourly income trader, second is daily income trader, third is weekly income trader, and fourth is your monthly income trader. Okay, now just take a screenshot of this. Guys, I want everybody to take a screenshot of this. Okay. Have you taken a screenshot of this? Your network is not good, Prasad. I can see it from here because everybody is hearing my voice. That's good. Okay, so please check your network. So we have 4 styles of trading, and in this we have 3 time frames. Okay, now we will go to the details of each and every style of trading in the coming session. Just in this chart, we want you to know that there are different styles of trading in Ignite. We have 4 styles of trading. So basically, hourly income trading and daily income trading is your intraday trades. Okay, and weekly and monthly income trading is your swing, that people call that a swing or a positional trading. Okay, so I will take you to each and every trading style in the coming session. Just know that there are 4 styles of trading, and when I come to multiple time frame analysis, I want all of you to bear in mind that these are the three time frames, or you just buy hard this. These are the three time frames that I'm going to use for as an early income trader. Okay, as a daily income trader, I'm going to use these three time frames. As a weekly income trader, I'm going to use these four time frames. Only in weekly income trader, we are using four time frames. Okay, and as a monthly income trader, we are going to again use three time frames. So when I come to multiple time frame analysis, you should be clear that what are the three time frames that should be by heart, that what are the three time frames that we are going to use for our different styles of trading. Okay, so this is a weekly chart, daily chart, 15-minute chart. So if I just remove this weekly chart, daily chart, 15-minute chart, will you see any differences? All are candlestick charts, right? Or our candlestick charts. So for our analysis, we are going to use candlestick charts. Okay. So what does this weekly chart show you? So the weekly chart show you that the weekly activity. Okay, the weekly activity of that stock of the market. If you're looking at Tata Motors weekly chart, so that weekly candle will show you the weekly activity of that stock. That is the open, high, low, and close. And if it's a green candle, that means there were more buyers in that week. If it's a red candle, that means there were more sellers in that week for Tata Motors. Okay, so weekly chart will have an activity of 5 days. Okay, together clubbed into a weekly single candle. Yeah, weekly starts from Monday and it ends on Friday. Similarly, a daily chart will show you a daily activity of that script. Okay, the open, high, low, and close for that day. 15-minute chart will show you a 15-minute activity. Okay, so if the candle starts, let's suppose that the candle started at 9:30, so it will end at around 9:44, or 9 hours 44 minutes 59 seconds. No, it's not that, Madhuri. Okay, don't go into the conclusion right now. Just understand that there are different time frames. So a 15-minute chart will have how many 5 minutes candle? It have different time frames, Puneet. Three, very good. Similarly, a weekly chart will have 5 daily candles in that. Okay, similarly, a weekly chart will have 5 daily candles in that, because the week is for five days in the market. We start from Monday and start we start from Monday and end at Friday evening. Okay. No, Sai, green does not indicate buy. Green indicates that there were more buyers in this week for a weekly chart. If the candle, if you see on a daily chart, it's green, then what does it indicate? That there were more buyers today. If the candle is red, that indicates that on that particular time frame, there were more sellers on that 15-minute chart for that particular candle. Yeah, weekly chart will have only one candle for 1 week. Okay. Just because of green candle or a red candle, we will not base our decision on that. That if it's a green candle, we will buy. If it's a red candle, we will sell. No, that's not the conclusion that you come to, Senthil. Okay, I'm going to tell you where to buy, when to buy, and everything. So hold on. It's just sell that for that particular over here. Yes, Vivek. So we'll come to that. What about retail investors? Now focus here. Which is the two common thing that you see over here? The high and the low, right? The high and the low. Okay, the high and the low. Now, in one of the figure or in one of the structure, your close is above the open. And in second figure, your open is above the close. So let's suppose the price open at 100. Okay, it made a low of 95. Again it went up. Again it went up. Again it went up. Again it went up. It made a high of 110 and then it closed at 105. So it opened at 100 and it closed at 105. So what is the pressure that you are seeing? Is it a bullish pressure or is it a bearish pressure that you see on this structure?
Bullish.
It opened at 100 and closed at 105. So there were more buyers, right? That's why it opened at 100. They took the price up and closed it at 105. So what will be the candle color for this structure? Green or red? Yeah, very good. It's a green color candle. Okay, it's a green color candle. It's a green color candle. Now, if you see the second structure over here, the open and the close. So here, what happened? The prices opened at 100. It will way beyond 9, or let's say that it opened at 100. The buyers took the price up 105, and then again sellers came into picture and brought the price down, 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 down to 90. And then again some buyers came here and closed the price at 95. So the price opened at 100 but closed at 95. So what will be the color candle for this? It's showing bearish pressure, right? It is showing a bearish pressure. So the candle color will here be red. So whenever the open is below the close, that will be a green candle, and whenever the open is above the close, it will be a red candle. So just apply your logic. Candle opens at 100, closes at 105. So it is showing you buying pressure. Candle opened at 100, it closed at 95. Okay, so it's showing you bearish pressure. So that the color will be red. Okay, now if you have understood this, now just jot down something over here that I want to tell you. The distance from the open to the close of the candle is called the body of the candle, because we are going to use this in right now in the session. Okay, remember this. The distance from the open to the close is the is called the body of the candle, whereas the distance from the high to the low is called the range of the candle. Okay, the distance from the open to the close in both your green and red candle is called the body of the candle. Can you see this rectangular red portion and green portion? So that's your body. Okay, and the distance from the high to the low is called the range of the candle. Okay, it is called the range of the candle. Understood this? Yeah. Okay, so let's go here. Now if you see this vertical lines, okay, these are called as top shadows, bottom shadows, top shadows, bottom shadows. Now these are also called as wicks or tails. So we are going to use wicks for our curriculum. Okay, everything means the same: wicks, tails, shadows, but we are going to use wicks. So this vertical line over here and here, these are called as wicks. Okay, now you might see a candle which doesn't has a top shadow or a top wick. Okay, why has this happened? Because the price opened at 100, it went all the way to the 90. Again the buyers came in and took the price up and they closed at 110. So here the high and the close is the same for this candle. Okay, now don't go into that, Shravan. We don't want to go with hammer and all those candlestick patterns. We don't know. We don't need to know this. Okay, if you know that, that's good. That's good. But we don't need to know all this candlestick patterns. Okay, so this is open. This is open. This is close. For a green candle, always the open will be below the close, right? So here the candle opened at 100 and closed at 105. okay, at 105. So here the close and the high is the same. Similarly, here the candle opened at 100, it went all the way to 110, but again the sellers came into picture over here and then they brought the price down. So now the close and the low are the same for this candle, okay, because this is the low point. So here the low and the close is the same, and here the close and the high is the same. Okay, so you might find candles which have no wicks to the upside. You might find candle on your chart which doesn't have any wicks to the downside. Clear? Prasanna, if you want to take screenshot, please do it while you are attending the recording. Okay, if you want to go for screenshots, please go. The important screenshots that you need is like the time frames that I have given you. So I'll give you time for that. But for yes, the executed trades. Price charts helps us identify and quantify crucial components for successful market timing or speculating. So demand, a price level in a market where demand exceeds supply. This is where price stops falling and turns higher. So this is just an introduction of demand. Okay, Rutuja, thank you very much. So demand, it's just an introduction of the demand. Okay, we will get to know each and everything in details in the coming session. Okay, so demand is a price level in a market where demand exceeds supply. So basically demand will be a level where demand will exceed supply on the chart. Okay, so if the price is falling when it comes to a demand area or when it comes to that range, what will happen is the price will stop falling and it will reverse from a demand area. Why? Because the demand is more than the supply. Okay, I gave you an example yesterday. So whenever the mango comes in the beginning, in the month of March, there is more demand than the supply. So what happens? The price shoots up. Similarly, if we come into the month of July or June, at the end of June, there is less demand and more of supply. So the price becomes lesser. Okay, so similarly, these areas are available on a price chart, but we are going to see how to find out those demand and supply zones in the coming session. So supply zone is a price level in a market where supply exceeds demand. Okay, so this is where the price stops rising and turns lower. Now what happens here is that in a supply zone, if the prices are coming up, then they will stop at a supply zone and they will start to fall. They will start to reverse from a supply zone. Now, why is that? Because supply is more than the demand. That is why the price stops rising and it starts to fall. Okay, human emotions. So emotions of fear and greed are clearly seen on a price chart if you know what you're looking for. So the emotions of greed and fear will be seen on a price chart. So once we go to the charts, once we find demand and supply levels, you'll come to know that where are these human emotions coming on the chart? Where is the emotions of fear coming in the chart, and where is the emotion of greed coming on the chart? So soon you will learn to see all three on a price chart. So this was just an introduction. We are going to see all this on a price chart in the coming sessions. Any and all influences on price are reflected in price. So whether all this, there are certain instances given over here. Okay, so this slide is telling you that whether it's an earning report, whether it's some news, whether it's income statement, whether it's balance sheet, a company declaring results, if there's an FED announcement, there's an economic report, terrorist alert or attack or anything. Okay, everything is reflected on the price chart. Everything is reflected on the price chart. Now, because of these instances like earning reports, news, income statement, balance sheet, what we do is we develop thoughts and perceptions. Let's suppose, you have a gut feeling that this company's earning report is going to be negative. Okay, it's going to be in loss. So what you do is you develop thoughts and perception that the price for this stock is going to go down because the earning report is not good. The news is not good for that company. Okay, so what everybody does is they develop thoughts and perception, and with that thoughts and perception, what they do is they develop an action, whether to buy or sell. Okay, but it should not be with this instances. Whether it's an earning report, whether it's an income statement, whether it's a balance sheet, you have to develop your action for buy and sell looking at the charts, whether the price are coming into a demand zone or whether the price are coming into supply zone. There are many instances when the price of that stock, when the news on that stock was positive, okay, and it has come into a demand zone and the prices have shooted from the demand zone. But I feel price go high in case of bad result in max cases. Maybe because that might be for demand zone. I'll show you a very good example of Infi latest example. Let me go here. Now you don't need to do anything, right? Oh, over here. You know, this candle on Infi on 22nd October. What was the price in Infi? Yes, the previous day the price closed at 763 or 767. Okay, where did the price open the next day? 691. Okay, of the it was 767 and opened at 691. So around 80-90 points down. What was this candle for? Why did this Nifty gap down so much? Or Infi gap down so much? Whistleblower, yes, very good. It was whistleblowing activity. Okay, but remember this chart. Okay, the prices gap down, and second day the prices started to go up from this. Why did this happen? Because on the left there was a demand zone. This was a demand zone. Okay, once I go through what is the demand, what is the supply, you go and see this chart. You'll find to know, you'll be amazed to know that there was a demand zone on Infi. The prices gapped down to this demand zone, and from the second day it started to move up. Yeah, it was a whistleblowing activity. Okay, so whatever the news is, we do not need to take action based on the news. What do we need to take our action on? It has to be on the demand and supply that is seen on the chart. Okay, so just understand that. So everything, this is whatever you see the earning reports news, these are already discounted on the chart. Okay, and that's how I've been trading from the last 5 years. Whether it's the news are bad, whether the news is good, whether it's anything, okay, I will always follow my demand and supply on the chart. The only thing that is remaining right now is I have to tell you where is your demand zone on the chart, where are this supply zone on the chart. Okay, which we will come to know in the coming sessions. Opened at, let's suppose, 100 and it closed at 110. So that will be a green candle. Similarly, the candle opened at 100 but it closed at 90. So that means there were more sellers in that candle. Now the people wanted to sell that stock. That's why the candle opened at 100 and it went down to 90 till 90. So this order flow is driven by demand and supply based on people's perceived value, fear, and greed. Now, how is this ongoing demand and supply relationship created in the chart? It's because the order flow is driven by demand and supply based on people's perceived value, fear, and greed. If people feel that it's going to be more of the let's suppose that the news has come negative for that stock, so everybody is going to sell. So that's the fear in the mind of the people, so they are going to sell. The news are good, the news is good for that stock, so then comes the greed. The prices are not going to go, now they are going to go up, so let's jump into this. Okay, so what could happen, the prices might be coming into your supply zone, okay, where supply is more than the demand, and then the prices might stop to rise and then it might start to come down. Yes, Madhav, hold on, I'm going to explain you that, okay, in the next session. Just understand how are this candlestick formed. Now here there is an example of ABC stock. So there are four buyers, there are four willing buyers who want to buy each 100 stocks of ABC at the price 41.30. So if a seller is not available at 41.30, will the trade take place, or will the transaction take place? There are four buyers, okay, each want to buy the stock at 41.30, okay, but there is no seller available at 41.30, so the transaction will not take place. Okay, now let us suppose that there come two buyers, each with 50 quantities. So the guy who is first in the queue will get filled. Guy who is first in the queue will get filled. Now he gets filled. Okay, he gets filled. The willing buyers, now there are three willing buyers who want to buy this ABC stock at 41.30, but there is no seller right now at 41.30. Okay, there might be a seller at 41.70 or 41.80. Now, if this buyer, if the buyers want to still buy this stock, what will they have to do? Pay more, right? They have to increase the price. They have to increase the price. They have to increase the price because the sellers are not ready to come down. They are not bogged down by the price. They are selling that if you want to buy, come at my price, 41.70. I am going to buy, I am going to sell you at 41.70. If you want to buy, come at that price. Okay. So now, if these buyers still want to buy this ABC stock, they have to increase the price. Okay, this is how the price gets increased or decreased in a stock or a market. The result, the prices goes up. So at some